The rain stopped at last, so hopefully we've got a few days straight now with a bit of decent weather, so we can get back on with it and hopefully finish this roof over the next few days. That side done, just ridge tiles for the top, but before we do that we've got to get over on the other side and do exactly the same as this now, but all our battens and felt are out, so I was going to say it's a relatively easy job. It is and it isn't. There's lots of cuts. Now, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but when you get in the corners by here, when I took the slates off on the old roof, they had just been using single slates, but you find you get lots of loose little sloppy bits, so what I've been doing is using double slates or slate and a half. So you get a double slate, which is literally a 600 by 600. You will have seen me doing this in my other videos, the loft conversion videos, if you've watched those. But basically you can line those up, and then where you've got like a tiny overlap of a small slate and you've got no area basically to get the nails into the battens, you use a double slate or a slate and a half. You cut it down to size, that means you can get the nails in there, and then that extra bit that overhangs is secured down by the nails on the other side of the slate, if that makes sense. And I'll just show you that now with the camera. Right, so there's the roof there, all the way along. Nice even spacings on that, quite tidy as well, considering the roof was so bowed and curled up before, where we've trimmed that bit down on the end. That's really nice and straight there actually, so I'm happy with that. But this is what I was saying, if you look there, you've got your single slate, and when you get there, that's actually a slate and a half. Second one up, slate and a half, next one slate and a half. I say slate and a half, the double slates cut down to the size you want basically. So you can see it's when it's just wider than a single slate, you use the double, it means you can get your two nails in on this side into your batten, and then the other bit can overhang then and secure it down by that. If you're just left with a little triangle, you'd have no way to put your nails through to the battens, especially in the valleys, because sometimes the battens don't go right out to the edge of the slate, they overhang the lead, and you obviously don't want to be putting battens over the lead and nailing through the lead, because that defeats the idea of the lead. When you're on the gable end, you do exactly the same. So rather than using a full slate and then a half slate, just to avoid uplift with the wind, you use a slate, then slate and a half, slate and a half all the way up. That makes it nice and solid then, so you can secure this down with your crampions and it holds it all the way out. In actual fact, the manufacturer's recommendations do say to use two of these, your disc rivets or crampions, one there and one there. It's a hell of a lot of hassle because you've got to line the slate up, drill through the slate below, then take it back off, and I did that on the loft. You can see up there, I actually did 2 holes all the way, but it takes absolutely ages, and to be honest with you, this is solid as a rock as it is. It's going nowhere because the slate above is holding it down anyway. So I'm happy with that. There we go, I've got to leave it for today. I've got to get in now, but there we go, not a bad day's work. We've done half of this roof, just in there now, so I've sort of left the fiddly bits under the lead to do, so hopefully we'll get that finished up no problem tomorrow morning. And then walking over to the other side, we've done this one, like I showed you earlier. All done now, that bit. So there we go, lovely job. See you in the morning. From whoever roofed it last time. They're actually aluminium rather than lead, and they're tucked into the wall up underneath the render. Someone's rendered over them, so we just left them in situ. Same on the other side of the roof. You just got to make sure that when you slide the slate in, you put the slate in first at the bottom. In fact, 2 slates on this because you've got your eaves course. Then you do your soaker over the top, then slate, soaker, and so on. Only up the bit of the wall, but obviously you can't see the upturn bit because the render's over it there. So it's just to explain that bit against the wall. Finally finished this side of the slates all the way across there, and now it's time to get the ridge tiles on. But before I stick the ridge tiles on, I think I'm just going to whack on the 2 fascia boards by here. Then I can pack some slate underneath the top, put the ridge tiles on, and those slates are packed underneath allow me to put a bit of cement in the end, just like we got up there. You would have seen me just putting on the fascia boards, and then I tapped in a few extra noggins or ladder bits, I guess, ladder sections. That's all I've done there, is just braced it against the wall. I've screwed with some long screws straight through the fascia into those extra bits I added, and that's lovely and solid now. Now the reason I've done it is so you've got a little bit more to screw the soffit board up to. Obviously you've got that piece of 4x2 down there, you could have screwed all down the front, but it's just to give a little bit more support as you go along. So that's that one there. And coming around here, you can see I've done exactly the same on the other side. I'm going to leave the soffits for now. That's a job for a slightly later date, probably in a day or two. My next task I think is going to be getting these ridge tiles done. So that's all the ridge tiles up. I'm getting tired now, so I'm probably going to pop in for a bit of food about 5:45 in the evening. And I'm still thinking I might be able to get these ridge tiles put on, so I'll have a bite to eat and we'll see how we go. Right, so I've had a bit of food, I've come back. It's been a bit of a downpour, so the roof's a bit wet now, but now the sun's out, so it doesn't really know what it wants to do, the weather. Right, on these ridge tiles that I've got, if you look at the back by here, you've got like a nail hole. And under the current British standards, what they say is they shouldn't be bedded on with mortar alone anymore. They should really be secured down with a screw. So I'm going to use these stainless steel screws, and that means by the time you put the screw through, you've got a lovely solid fixing. Now what I'm going to do also is bed this on a bit of mortar just to seal it up nicely, and the mix I'm going to use is 1 sharp sand to 2 builder's sand to 1 cement. That is the recommended mix from what I've seen on the internet. Right, now I've just noticed I got to the end and I'm 1 ridge tile short, typical. I don't know how I managed that because I thought I measured it properly, but there we go. So what I'm going to do is leave the last 2 off now. That way we can put a full one at the back where we can't screw it down. And then what we'll do is we'll do a cut one from the end, and then the small one, which will be a lot lighter and more vulnerable to lifting, we'll screw down. And then we can put the heavy one over the top at the back there, and that'll need to be trimmed down diagonally to go over the lead. There's what I think I'll do now with a bit of the cement or mortar that I got left. I'm just going to go around now and point of any gaps underneath, so it's good to go next time. And then tomorrow we'll have to get on with something else because it's Saturday today. Builders Merchant's not open tomorrow, so we'll have to go down and get the ridge tile Monday if we can and carry on with it then. So there we go, that's just the way these things go. It's getting late now anyway, it's turned into a really nice evening, so I'll carry on with that and we'll press on. Okay, so I didn't show you the pointing up, but I've just been round and done that on both sides. So you can see now we've got all the nice ridge tiles across there. Pop around the other side and show you that now. So there we are, looking from the other side all the way back. The only thing we're missing now is, like I said, the 2 ridge tiles. I've got to go and buy another one. I've got one over there waiting to go. It's just a case of trimming the one down, placing it over the top of that one, and then we'll put a full one at the back with a tapered end to go up that lead work. So there we go, that's it from me again today. I'm going in, it's 8 o'clock. Gonna have a nice cup of tea now. See you in the morning.